Yeah, so the thought behind the singles cover was I was trying to illustrate visually what kind of interpreted from the song. So in terms specifically in terms of like the image, I started with one image which was of you, and even with that, in terms of like the editing process, was that I tried to make it quite dark just to represent really the person that God is trying to still, that they are in a dark place. And I carried on in terms of that line of thought where when I got into Photoshop, I was able to do is that superimpose that image with another image of yourself and really play about with contrast to illustrate kind of almost the fight that one goes through when they are in that place. That actually there's this contrast of light and darkness, this contrast of even their own identity, that at some point you can recognize who they are, but then at other points you can't. So it's taking one image and one version of yourself and putting it with another and imposing with another. So this thing is layered. So when you're in that dark place, there's so many layers of darkness, so many shades of sadness, so many shades of depression, so many shades of hopelessness. So I really played about with that and tried to show that visually, that, you know, we kind of with obviously you being the main singles cover, is that the many layers to what you're going through. And but then I just put that text, that still me text, in kind of like a gold, in a color that would just bold, clean, just also kind of beautifully, just on top of all those layers, to almost represent that. Do you know what? Even in the layers, even in the depths and deep depths and shallow depths of kind of what's happening, or where I kind of find myself in, there's still a word which is gold that hems this all together, and that's God's stillness. That's God's final word. So I also played about with black and white. I think black and white are representing kind of just black and white is a classic thing. It's almost like this thing that we're going through isn't just like new to us, but it's a thing that has happened, that will keep on happening. But the overwhelming thing is that there's color, and the color is that God is able to still us, and God's able to bring something else black and white and make it colorful. So the thought process was kind of just playing about with contrast, playing about with color. And I think this kind of like a visual thing I've come up with hopefully represents trying to articulate the landscape, that, you know what, somebody is going through a tough time, and that's real. But also there's truth, that he leads me, that God leads us into still waters, that God leads us, that God is able to still us, that God is able to take an image that was something the way that's not meant to be, and actually God is able to create one image, one person, without all the other layers of sadness. And God is able to bring those deep dark layers and merge them into one perfect layer and kind of like wrap it. Yeah, that was my thought process really. I kind of just trying to articulate visually what the song meant to me. It's like 3 minutes long. Mad. I've finished.